Hey everyone, Miko here with Behavior Analyst Supervisor. Thank you for joining us for our free Wednesday Zoom calls. Here you're watching on YouTube, but you could also join us on Wednesday. If you're interested in the link to these calls to join live, feel free to send us an email at info@behavioranalystsupervisor.com. You can also just check out our Instagram. We post questions every single day on Instagram. We also post the link to our free Zoom calls. Every Wednesday, we go through a different task list item area, such as A1. We'll talk a little bit about that task list item, and then we'll go through 3 mock exam questions relating to that task list area. We hope that this provides an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about the task list and also dive deep into question dissection. We here at Behavior Analyst Supervisor really focus on providing explanations on why an answer is correct and why it's also incorrect. So we appreciate that you joined us. If you have any questions throughout the duration of this video, feel free to shoot us an email, hit that like and subscribe button for more information. Also, you can always leave a comment and we'll be sure to reach back out to you. Thanks again, and I'm Miko with Behavior Analyst Supervisor. You'll also be hearing from Amy and Kevin. Talk to you soon.
Hello, everyone. Maybe.
Happy Wednesday.
Okay, I got it. Recording, etc. Everything's up, except I'm on the wrong slide. Just can't get it all together, people. There we go. Free Wednesday. That's what we're. Happy hump day. Hope you're over it. Yep. Miko's like ready to go get off of work. So that's Miko. If you don't know him over there in Florida, he's the East Coast guy. Kevin over here on the West Coast. Go Callie. And Amy is next to me.
Also on the West Coast.
Right. Can't see the ocean from here, but okay.
Hey, let's do a celebration.
Hey, let's do that. So today's topic, thank you for mentioning that.
Miko, I was going to see if you forgot or not. So we will be giving away a free mixed mini mug.
It was about to come out of my
I
mouth.
know it was at the end of this, but stay till the end because we might need some information from you, but I'm going to put everybody's name who's here in a random name generator and we'll give away a free new to you mini mug.
You have to show it at the end because it's actually like
It's
Wheel
really
of
cool.
Fortune, spins around. It's fun. Okay. So today's topic, this is a hard one for me because it seems like kind of a softball. You just collaborate with others. How hard is that? Play nice in the sandbox. Okay. So support and provide services to clients. That's the main thing. And what do we do to collaborate? Well, let's talk about where I get my information is from the ethical code, right? Miko and I are going to talk a lot about the ethical code in the upcoming months, aren't we? So these are a couple of things that I grabbed from the code, and I'd love for you to read it. If you haven't, you got to, especially if you were at all familiar with the last code. There's so many changes that you really need to be updated. The introduction is one thing. It's got a lot in there, 4 core principles, one of them being benefit others. And there's like a whole bunch of bullet points under each one of these 4 core principles. This one is relevant for today. Effectively and respectfully collaborating with others in the best interests of those with whom they work and always placing clients' interests first. All right, so before I break that down, let's get into the other code that's relevant, collaborating with colleagues, okay? So behavior analysts collaborate with colleagues from their own and other professions in the best interests of clients and stakeholders. Still sounds consistent here. Behavior analysts address conflicts by compromising when possible and always prioritizing the best interests of the clients, right? Behavior analysts document all actions taken in these circumstances and their eventual outcomes. If you have not read the code, it says that ad nauseum. You've got to do what you do. You've made a choice, an ethical decision, hopefully. You do it and you document. You got to document. So document. All right, document, yes, okay. But I think here's the important, if you're gonna break these things down, what's in here that's important? When you collaborate, you're gonna be respectful of others. You're also going to keep clients' interests paramount first. That's what you're going to do. And then I think there's something else in here, best interests of clients and stakeholders. You compromise when possible. So clearly, if someone's asking you to do something illegal, unethical, totally unscientific, you don't have to compromise by saying, oh, sure, I'll do that, but compromise when possible. And you're, again, keeping the interests of your clients. Okay, so I'm going to run a few questions by you guys. I'm going to do one, Miko's going to do one, then I do one. And I think there's going to be some time for a discussion. We'll see. Well, let's get to it. Here we go. You and a nurse are working with an 86-year-old man who's been forgetting to take his medication regularly. Which is the best plan for collaboration? Is it? Oh, I should read these. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Nope, I'll read them. Leave the nursing to the nurse. Medication management is not in a behavior analyst's scope of competence. All right. B, tell the nurse to leave behavior like this to the behavior analyst. Thank you very much. Okay. Create a plan with the nurse that involves SDs and stimulus prompts. Or finally, develop a plan with the nurse to use positive and negative reinforcement for compliance with medications when he remembers. All right. Now you can chat Miko, you can chat Amy, or some other way of giving us your answer. Maybe sign it.
Send smoke signals, please.
Yes. You can send them to Florida or Northern California. We'll get them. A message in a bottle will take a while, but.
do they still use pigeons?
Right.
In honor of Skinner.
Yeah, exactly. But to grab the pigeons, put them in a box, make them peck things.
So I have answers coming in, and the majority of mine, Miko, are C's with an occasional D.
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm getting. I have all C's and a couple of D's, like 3 D's and the rest are C's.
Yeah.
That's pretty poor grades, you guys.
No, they got to the best two for sure.
Okay. Again, like I said, this seems, a lot of the ethical code kind of seems like common sense, right? So it's hard for me to even write these questions. So I hope it's really easy when you get to these questions on the test. But let's go through these. So A, leave the nurse into the nurse. Okay, right. It might not be in your scope of competence, but behavior is. So you don't have to say, well, I know what this medication does. Absolutely, that would be the wrong thing unless you're also a nurse and a behavior analyst or something. But that's not really helping answer the question. Which is the best plan? Just leave it alone. Not really a great plan. So it's not A. It seems like you guys know that. B, tell the nurse to leave behavior to the behavior analyst. That's not very collaborative, is it? And so you're right. It's got to be C or D. C, create a plan with the nurse that involves SDs and stimulus prompts. Here's where there's some imagination necessary on your part. What SDs? What stimulus prompts? What would I do? And I love it if you can think about that. What would I do for somebody who seems to forget his medication? Is there an SD I can create? Are there stimulus prompts that I can use to remind him, hey, look over here, check this out, make sure, a timer is one of those things that like comes to my mind immediately, or taking medication at the very same time every day or whatever. So that makes sense to me. And I want you to be able to do that. Like, imagine how this answer could work. And then we can consider D, develop a plan with the nurse to use positive and negative reinforcement for compliance with medications when he remembers. So what that is saying is when he remembers to take his medication, we will reinforce that behavior, right? Contingent reinforcement if he remembers. And there's the problem, right? D is okay because it's talking about reinforcement. It sounds good to us, right? It's behavior analysts, but it's not so great because this is a skill deficit. He forgets. So you need to find some other way to intervene, I think. So when he remembers, sure, you can give him some reinforcement, but that's kind of the problem. He's forgetting. So I think the best answer here is C.
Can I add something, Kevin?
Yeah, please.
Cool. The other thing I think of with D2 is if we look at the task list, and it's in G, I don't remember exactly which one it is, but it's use positive reinforcement to strengthen behavior or use negative reinforcement to strengthen behavior. And I think that's important, right? It's the strengthening piece, not the establishing piece. And here, I think we have to establish the behavior before we can strengthen it, right?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I like how the task list has done that now with strengthening and weakening, right? We use things like DRA to weaken the target behavior and strengthen the new one. Perfect. Okay. Well, Miko, you could take this next one away.
Sounds good to me. All right, you decided to compromise with a developmental specialist, even though you disagreed with her approach. After taking data on the intervention for 6 weeks now, the problem behavior is clearly at the same level as when you started. The specialist disagrees. What should you do? A, continue to implement and document the plan outcomes. B, advocate to add your recommendations to the current plan and document outcomes. C, request that the specialist and parent look at the data more closely. Or D, propose to switch to your plan for the next 6 weeks and document outcomes. Doing a lot of documenting there. Y'all can go ahead and throw your answers in the chat. You can flash your camera on and off 1 time for A, 2 times. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to open it and look. Nobody's doing that, Miko.
Dang it.
I know.
Looks like I need to add some stimulus prompts to establish that behavior, huh?
Yes, I like it.
Cool. So
Just coming in, Miko, and it's looking like people like answer B.
yep, I'm getting some B's over here too. So that's awesome. Let's go ahead and go through each one. We'll leave B for last. So if I look at A first, continue to implement and document plan outcomes. I like to fit answers back into the question. It's kind of like a puzzle, or I like to call it a test drive. Have a dream of owning a Tesla one day. Don't yet, but when I do, I'm going to test drive it. So let's do that. So if we test drive A and put it back into the question, it doesn't seem like it's working, right? So the plan isn't working. We're not going to continue to implement the plan if it's not working. That would be contradictory to the ethical code. We have to implement effective treatments. Then when we look down at C, request that the specialist and parent look at the data more closely. The data are what the data are, right? And so if they're increasing, then they're increasing. And if they're decreasing, they're decreasing. Looking at the data more closely is not taking action when we have an ineffective treatment. So that doesn't seem like it's right to me. It is important to look at the data though. D, propose to switch your plan for the next 6 weeks and document outcomes. That doesn't seem very collaborative, right? In the spirit of collaboration, we need to work with the specialist. It seems like advocating to add your recommendations to the current plan is certainly the best answer. And just a little hack here. We always want to advocate for the client and we want to do what's in the best interest for the client. So adding or advocating to add your recommendations seems like it would be the best choice.
Sweet. I totally agree. Everything you said, Miko.
Perfect.
All right. Any questions or comments on that? You guys see anything in the chat? Okay. If it comes up, of course, let's address it. But moving on. A client engages in repetitive, undirected babbling. You believe that the behavior serves an automatic function. The speech therapist believes that the vocalizations are an escape request. You both agree the client needs communication skills. What should you do? A, show the speech therapist the functional assessment graph that proves you're right. B, I like A, automatically. Yes, that's it. B, put your separate plans in place and record the results. C, interrupt the babbling and redirect the client to another task. Or D, remove demands for 30 seconds, contingent upon the babbling.
This one's going to be fun to talk about. I can tell already.
Aren't they all?
Extra fun, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm getting some.
But I have A's, B's, and C's.
Yeah, I'm getting varied responses as well. I'm getting B's, C's, B's.
Okay. Nobody likes A. Okay.
No, people like A.
Oh, people do like it.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Yeah.
said A's, B's, and C's.
Oh, I missed that. I was listening to you. I was just tuning you out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's not really A. That sounds nice. You can show them that you're right. And maybe you are. However, that doesn't solve the problem. It might be a step along the way. You can say, hey, look at the functional assessment graph. It looks like this is actually an automatic or sensory function, whatever you want to call it. But what are we going to do to collaborate? What are we going to do to move forward? And I want that as the answer. So fine, I would say consider A and see if there's a better one. And I think there is. So let's find it. B, put your separate plans in place. Same thing Miko said on the last one. It doesn't sound very collaborative there. You could put separate plans in place, but this probably isn't in the best interest of clients either to have, parallel things going on. Let's, talk about what needs to be, what are the goals, what behaviors are we changing, and see if we can come up with something collaborative. How about C, interrupt the babbling and direct the client to another task. So I'm going to say I like C and D both. Like, sure, you could do this, interrupt the babbling, redirect the client to another task.
That C certainly sounds like just what you want to do.
It does. Or maybe that's what the speech therapist wants to do too. I don't know. But I agree. It's like, why are we doing that? If I interrupt the babbling, then I'm not really, considering it as escape. And I'm also redirecting them to another task. So I'm trying to prevent them from doing this babbling. And I'm not really sure why. Why would I address that, or say, oh, I need you to stop babbling. Yeah, it might be an automatic function, but it doesn't seem like that's a big deal. The thing I want you to focus on in the question or in the scenario is that you both agree that this person needs communication skills. And I hope you can see that D is the best answer for that. It could be all kinds of things we could do with this babbling. Right now, let's say it does serve an automatic function, but we could do contingency adduction, right? And it could take on a new function like escape. So what I think D would be doing is encouraging, reinforcing that when you babble, you get to escape. You babble, you escape, you babble, you escape. And that eventually should cause a person to be able to communicate using this babbling. So communicate at least for a break or escape. That's the best answer that's here. You might wonder, well, why would we do that? But that's my answer is it's the only one that's communicative. It's the only one that's also collaborative. You're not arguing about the answer. So Miko, you got some more?
Yeah, just something to add quick. The other thing about C and D, if we even take the functions out and we put them on equal footing regardless of the function. So say we didn't conduct an FA yet, obviously we should do that. But if we don't know what the function is, when we look based on the 5th edition and the 4th edition Cooper book, C is it's not an intervention that was listed in the 3rd edition Cooper book, but it is in the new one. So it's called response, interruption, and redirection, and it falls under a positive punishment procedure. So even when we just say we need to use reinforcement first, D would be utilizing reinforcement, whereas C would be utilizing punishment. And so we should also take that into account and try the punishment first, since that's our ethical obligation as well.
Yeah, great point. Right. Yeah, we're trying to stop the babbling, and I'm not sure why. Right. Okay. Well, let's go to check this out. If you have not been here before, you haven't checked out our site, I'm going to take you there in hopefully 1 minute or so. We have these break down the beasts, 4-hour meetings twice a month. We go through questions just like we did, maybe even more in depth. So our all you need guaranteed package, you get future past ones. There's already 350 questions worth you can review, or you can just buy them a la carte. And if you go to the BCBA exam prep page, I'm going to show you just real quick this calendar. So we have our all you need guaranteed package, a lesser package, of course, and anything individual that you might want to buy. But the calendar really, these Tuesday, Thursday meetings, Miko's going through the task list. And where are you now, Miko? Somewhere in H?
Yeah, we're still in G. We just spent, what did we go over on Tuesday? We just went over derived relations, and on Thursday, we're actually going to be spending a little bit of time diving into RFT, so relational frame theory. So we'll probably spend the entire Thursday course doing that. So that'd be a good day to watch the recording if you're a little bit confused on RFT. As a little preview, it's very much similar to stimulus equivalent. So there's not a whole lot of differences there.
Right. It's just scary looking at combinatorial entailment. Like, what the heck is that?
You should have saw me trying to draw that on a triangle last week.
Yeah, that's great. Spell it all out, right? Tuesday, Thursdays, though, that's exclusive for the All You Need Guaranteed package. That's, recorded, but you can watch those live. Obviously, you're here on Wednesday, so you kind of know about these, but every Wednesday, anyone's invited. Just come on and we'll talk about stuff. The topic is listed on there. And then, like I said, twice a month, there's Breakdown the Beast. So the next one is actually this Saturday, if you're interested. Anyway, that's it. So let me get back to the free. Is it time?
Well, I think it's great. We have about 10 minutes left, so this is a perfect time if anybody has any questions. This is where you should ask them.
I know, I did think we would have some time. So any other topics that come up? Anything that we talked about today? Any ethics questions? You just want to tell us what you're doing this weekend? I don't know.
If not, I think we're ready to spin.
Okay, let's give it a few seconds because, you guys are shy sometimes.
I did have a question in regards to contingency adoption, if you could expand a little bit more on that.
Sure. First of all, it's probably not going to be on the test, but if it is, contingency adduction is really just using one behavior for more than one function. So we can, a great example is young kids. You might cry in order to demand for something. You might cry in order to escape a task or whatever. So
Cry to get some attention.
Exactly. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
That's exactly right. So that's all that means is you have a behavior that serves a function, and then you figure out that behavior can also serve other functions.
Thank you.
Good question. I had to say contingency adduction to freak you all out, along with combinatorial
Entailment.
Any other questions? Any topic?
There's also, we post questions every day on Instagram, so feel free to go check us out there. We are getting super close to 6,000 followers, so we will be doing a 6,000 follower giveaway. So check out Instagram if you're interested in getting some cool stuff. And Kevin, could you pop back to the last question? There's some folks that just want to see that last one.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
So just to reiterate, the answer was D, because it seems like you are going to encourage communication. Contingent escape. All right.
All right. I think we're ready to spin.
Oh, we got a good group. Oh, can I do it, or you
Yeah, no, you
do I have
don't.
to touch it?
You
Or
just have to tap it.
okay, here we go. I don't know if you can see that.
They can only see the colors.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
there are names on there, I swear. Yeah. You see it?
Yes.
I don't know if you can read it though.
Oh, I think it's Nicole. Let's see.
Oh yeah, it says Nicole. Nicole, you get a free mini mock, one that's unpublished, so feel very special. And I hope you do well on it, but you can always, chat with us and we'll help you with all those questions.
And Nicole, if you don't have an account with us, we just need your email address.
True, thank you. Thank you. I'll set you up and add that to your account. Or if you have an account, let's just add it. So I guess that's it for today, folks. We'll see you next.
Last thing. I think we have a couple people with us that have passed recently. So I think Romy has passed recently, and I think this is Elizabeth that has passed recently too. So I just want to give them a shout out since they decided to pop on and hang out with us.
Yay!
Fun. I love it.
Thanks for coming back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And congratulations. I hope you've enjoyed that. Like, you need to have a month of joy or something once you get past this test, at least. Because it's been
Absolutely.
years, of getting there. So.
And hopefully Kevin and I will see some of you on Saturday for Break Down the Beast.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.